Okay, so we're going to continue what we did yesterday with the focus on Tzedakah in the Moreh Nevuchim, but let's read through the Tzedakah part again and then go through the Makbili because we kind of stopped on the side guy thing. Okay, so verbal review of Chesed. Chesed is excess, and the strict meaning is excess. Common usage is excess good, and the two forms of excess good are good to someone who you have no obligation towards, and good in a greater measure than you're obligated. And everything God does is chesed because nothing can force him to do anything, and he didn't need to create the entire universe, which is why olam chesed yibane. Okay, tzedakah is that Arabic word, okay, which is rightness or uprightness. And he says there are two types. First one is giving something to someone who it is due to, like in a legal sense, and the second one is to give every existing thing that which is befitting for it. Okay, so that, yeah.
I feel like he's probably going to address this.
Yeah.
But I feel like I kind of pinpointed what I didn't like about that first one.
Yeah, you were unsettled.
That sounds like Mishpat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
so
I was going to go do Mishpat. Like,
right. So you're correct. We should read Mishpat first before we go on, just to differentiate it.
Yeah.
Mishpat is just at the bottom of the page there. Asher lebitui mishpat mashma uso ladun es hanidon kfi haroilo bein im tov imzo hatava o anisha. So there is a similarity, but he's saying mishpat is the judging of the person who's subject to judgment according to what is proper for him, whether for good or for bad. So mishpat is like sentencing someone to something. So I think the case would be like if the judge, let's say like, you and Akiva come before me with a case and you say he owes me, $100 and he says no. And then I judge in favor of you and I say, okay, so you have to give him the $100. So he has to give you the $100. So that is mishpat in the sense that I'm like, meaning it's bad for him and it's good for you, but it's the sentencing,
It's like it's mishpat for both of us.
Yeah.
There's only tzedakah to me.
Oh no. So here's the thing. So that might be an argument for why the Rambam defines tzedakah in terms of you doing righteousness to your rational soul, because so it could be that you're correct that in terms of other people being forced to allocate resources as a consequence or as a obligation, that might be a mishpat thing. But in terms of you treating your rational soul what is due to it, that might be the tzedakah.
Yeah. To back this up, I was going to wait. I purposely waited till we did mishpat in here, but we came across in Sanhedrin.
Yeah.
There's like a whole gadata about like tzedakah mishpat, and the Gemara goes, how can you possibly have both of those? Right, those two seem to work.
Interesting.
If it's mishpat to the one guy, then where's the tzedakah? And then the case that they gave was that when because David and Melch would do tzedakah mishpat l'chol.
Yeah.
And so how could you possibly do that?
Yeah.
Right, because if you do mishpat, then the one guy is going to be like happy, the other guy's not. So the case was if there's an ani who owes the money, David and Melch would pay for himself. So the guy would so the guy who's owed would get his money, and then the ani would also would get the tzedakah because he wouldn't have to lose.
Interesting.
And then the Gemara goes, well, it says l'chol, and the Gemara says, even if it wasn't an ani, the fact that the one who owes the money is now told to do it, like that's tzedakah to the guy, because like now
that's really interesting.
Now his ownership is gone.
Okay, so that is that's an interesting question. I mean, and so I'll tell you a way that I've thought about this in the past, which this leads for an interesting mix. The way I thought about it in the past is that you could look at Chesed, Tzedakah, and Mishpat on a no, I don't want to arrange them yet. So Tzedakah and tzedakah would be in terms of what the person. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. No. It's not clear. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a complicated case. That's interesting. But I think I'm glad you're raising the question about what the relationship is between the Mishpat and the tzedakah. Yeah. Right, so let's see let's reread the Rambam and then look at the Makbili and how he talks us through the examples, because that seems to be key. So Rambam says, Al piha mashmalas harishona, based on the first sense of the term, ein ze nikra tzedakah b'sifrei Nevi'im im shilamta es hachovos hamutalas alach lezulasach. It is not called tzedakah in the books of the Nevi'im when you pay the debts that are incumbent upon you towards someone else, even though that's the first definition. Because if you pay the guy what you owe him in terms of his work, or you pay off your debt, that is not called tzedakah. But if you fulfill the obligations that are incumbent upon you towards someone else out of a midah tova, like the I want to look at the English and see how he translates that part. It's a weird lashon. Ripoy, I think, can mean healing. But it also means like loosening.
When you first read it yesterday, I was like, he's fixing all of his broken bones, like.
Yeah. And that's why I'm not sure if the shever means breaking or means like provisions. So he translates this as if you give. On the other hand, the fulfilling of duties with regard to others imposed upon you on account of moral virtues, such as remedying the injuries of all those who are injured. Okay, you're right. So it is learning as breaking, remedying the injuries of all those who are injured. So he says that is hin hanikros tzedakah. Okay. All right. Lakach nemar lagabi hashavas hamashkon ulchati tzedakah. That's why it says by returning of the mashkon. Oh, I didn't notice this last time. By the returning of the mashkon, it says lachati tzedakah. It will be a tzedakah for you. That's the diuk he's making, or that's the diuk that reflects his idea. Because if you follow the path of good midos, ata ose tzedek im nafshcha hahoge, you are doing tzedek with your rational soul. Kiata mishalem la as magia la, you're giving it what it is deserved. What is deserved to it. So it could be that the pasuk doesn't say it's a tzedakah for the guy because that's obvious, or maybe it's a chesed to the guy. 53 in book 3, so towards the very end. Yeah.
I feel like this isn't for now, but just to like bring up the question.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about like nafshecha hahoga.
Yeah.
And that like it seems external to whoever the you is that we're talking to.
Yeah, that's not for now. Yep. Okay. Umikevan shekol midah tova nikras tzedakah, since every good midah is called tzedakah. Never of hemi of Hashem v'yachshveh halo tzedakah, says Avram believed in Hashem and he considered for him a tzedakah. Klomar midas ha'emuna habitachon means the midah of trust. And then the last one is chein devarav yis'ala, which tzedakah tiye lanu ki nishmor la'asas as kol mitzvah zos lifnei Hashem elokinu kasher tivanu. It will be a tzedakah for us if we keep all of the mitzvah that before Hashem our God that He commanded us. Okay, so let's see the Makbili treatment. Run through the mill. Okay, so he starting with the dugma 1 on the right side. Lo rak tzedakah la'adam acher, not only tzedakah to another person. This is on page 2 on the right column. So gan la'adam atma, even to yourself, that could be tzedakah. L'chein netmar l'gabe hashavas hamashkon chova lahachzir la'ani b'layla es hamashkon shenitan ka'arvus lahachzaras halava'a. So it is an obligation to return to the poor person at night the collateral that he gave you as a guarantee of returning your loan. Kidei sheyuchal ha'ani lihizkazos bo, so that the ani can cover himself with it. Shneimar, as it says, hashev tashiv lo es ha'avot ha'beged ha'mamushkan. You should certainly return to him the beged that was a security. Kavo shemesh, when the sun goes down. V'shachav b'salmaso uvirachaka, and he will lie down with his garment and he will bless you. Ulachati tzedakah lifnei Hashem l'kacha, and for you it will be a tzedakah before Hashem. HaTorah mitzayenes shehachemla al ha'ani he begeder tzedakah l'mi shechoma alav. That's l'cha. The Torah is illustrating that the compassion on the poor person is in the definition of tzedakah for the one who is compassionate towards him. In other words, when you have compassion to the poor person, the compassion is a tzedakah for you. Okay. Mipnei shemimesh es harigishus hanachutza l'tzrachav shal hazulas, because it actualizes or it mamashifies, right? It makes real the sensitivity that is necessary, the necessary sensitivity for the needs of others. So that's what he means when he's saying like it's tzedakah to your rational soul, that really we're all equal. We're all, in terms of essentially equal. We're all Tzelem Elokims, and like, you are not intrinsically more deserving than I am. So if I have resources that and you have a lack, then then like it stands to reason that you should, receive that as much as I have these resources. So what he's saying, so what is the tzedakah to your rational soul is if you were to not give those resources, you would be like retaining this idea that like I somehow have more of a right for my needs to be taken care of than this guy does. So when you give the tzedakah to him, sorry, I shouldn't say give the tzedakah. When you give the mashkon to him, you are aligning your emotions with your rational soul. By actualizing, by making real to you that notion of equality, which is an idea, but it's not going to be real to you unless it's actually like brought about in your feelings, like having compassion, and in your actions. Yeah, Oren?
What exactly are you giving your soul?
Yeah, what are you giving your soul?
Yeah. Is it because you have the needles, or is it like tzedakah because you're allowing yourself to get the needles?
Or is it halacha, and that's
so it's funny because he
giving it the virtues that it deserves to have the tzedakah, or that's a really good question. Yeah, or giving, because tzedakah normally you think like that.
So your question is having them or is it giving them?
Which part is the tzedakah?
Yeah.
What are you giving?
You're giving midos to your rational soul. That's the formula you're saying. Yeah, right. Yeah, and then the way the Makbili is explaining it is he's saying that there is I did spill coffee on myself. Not coffee. I spilled soy sauce. Anyway,
this might answer Akiva's question. It says here, for when you walk in the way of the moral virtues, you do justice unto your rational soul. It's not when you give it, it's when you walk in the way. Just have it.
That's what Chaim is trying to say also. Okay, so I'll tell you what I think of it, and I'm not sure which of your two categories it fits into, but we'll talk it out. Is we are not pure minds, right? We are a mind that is we're hybrid, right? Yeah, we'll talk about that on Wednesday, right? What? Oh, the pure mind thing? Yeah.
Huh?
Oh no, right.
No, the Machshavah Lab, which is out.
You're talking about right. So the human organism is not a pure mind. It is a mind with a psyche and a body, right? Or that's all in the body. So our knowledge, if our knowledge is not being manifest in our behavior and in our emotions, so then the human organism is not in line with the knowledge, right? Like if I know something intellectually, but it's not, I don't relate to it as a reality and it's not affecting me, so then I'm compartmentalizing. Okay. So and I'm viewing that as a deficiency in the rationality in the mind, that the mind's knowledge is not being expressed fully in the entire person. So when you align it with good midos, now your mind, now it's not just you're thinking everyone's equal, you're actually, that's real to you, and it's actually moving you, Yeah.
Maybe it I don't know, fixes the deficiency that was in the rational part.
Yeah. The way I once heard Rabbi Trackman say this, and I don't know what this means, but it somehow always is very helpful whenever I think of it this way, is he said it just in this off the cuff way. He said, knowledge, Chachmas Hashem is that which moves matter. Okay. And he said, like God, like laws of nature, we call the laws of nature is Chachmas Hashem, but the laws are not just like laws on paper. They actually move matter. The laws are that which governs the physical world. So he said, in order for something to be knowledge for a human, it has to move the matter of the human, which means it has to be felt and acted upon. And if it's not being felt and acted upon, it's not knowledge, or it's lacking. Yeah. So again, that dips the toe into a whole pool of metaphysical, like epistemological, like hot water, but somehow it helps me whenever I think of it in those terms. I don't know what helps you. Okay. So does that answer your question, Akiva? Is it, I think so it is, I mean, the goal, the end point, the thing that makes it tzedakah is now your mind can do what it wants, which is to have a full expression of truth, So yeah. Okay. All right. Second example, lo rak maseh letovas hazulas, not just an action that is for the benefit of another. Ela kol mida tova shel nafshecha hahogeh. Any mida tova. Okay, now we got to make another distinction, which is, any mida which is mida tova shel nefesh nafshcha hahoge, for your rational soul. The hemin bar Hashem v'yachshveh lo tzedakah she'emin Avraham lahavtachas Hashem b'davar ha'im. See, there's modern Hebrew words. Mashchius zaro. Okay, so Avraham believed in trusting in Hashem in the matter of the continuation of his offspring. Ha'emuna v'habitachon v'Hashem mehem bichlal ha'tzedakah lenefesh lenechitzusa shel gisha optimit b'ofen klali, which is vital for the optimal approach. What's gisha? Is that an approach?
Meeting? No, that's gisha. Right?
Yeah.
No, maybe
gisha. I don't think it is. Gisha is access, approach, or attitude. Yeah, which is vital to an optimal attitude in a general manner. Ra'uk savim rufu'im. He refers us to the Rambam's medical writings. Okay, I don't have access to those. Yeah. Oh, so he is differentiating here. So I didn't realize this. So in example number 1, he's talking about actions which are tzedakah for you. In example 2, he's talking about midos, which are tzedakah for you. And in example 3, he says ulavasof, and at the end, kol Torah hi begetter tzedakah. The entire Torah is within the definition of tzedakah. Shnemar vaytavinu Hashem lasos es kol hachukim ha'ela liyira es Hashem Elokeinu l'tov lanu kol hayamim l'chayosinu k'yam hazeh u'tzedakah hi lanu k'nishmar lasos es kol mitzvazos l'vnei Hashem Elokeinu kasher tivanu hamitzvos hein begetter tzedakah la'adam mipnei she'hin mifatchos es nafsho karoilo. So this is what I was saying last Thursday. The mitzvos are in are in the definition of tzedakah because they develop the soul of a person properly. So the mitzvos are tzedakah for you because they're developing you, they're actualizing what you are. And he refers us to something else. Did you have a puzzle piece clicking that you want to articulate, or you're just saying it's coming together?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're going back to the first halacha in perek in Matnos Aniyim.
Yeah.
Where we talk about how it's, I forgot exactly his word.
Yeah.
Like it's very important, and that like it's
you have to be more careful about it than all the other mitzvos to say.
And there was something else that made it sound like he was saying it was basically shoved into all the other mitzvos. I forgot what exactly it was.
I think he said, let's look at it. I thought he just said that it's so slow. What is that book? Tzedakah Judo. Social action sonnets. No. There we go. That's the one. My hatred for Bing knows no end. The only thing I don't hate about it is that it exists, but I would prefer something else to exist in its place.
We should just want Google and Microsoft for one to part of the other so they can merge.
Yes, please do. All right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was then there was a whole thing about the tzaddik, the tzaddik of the Zera Avram.
Yeah. And then in Kisei Yisrael Miskonim Vidas Emes Omedes Elbet Staka.
Yeah.
Right. So
all these things make more sense now.
Right.
I would say. Based on this.
Right. Meaning because all of these things are because the entire Torah is tzedakah. Yeah.
So he's basically going to substitute in Torah.
Right. Right.
Following
the Torah is tzedakah, yeah. But I do think though, going back to Ornan's point about how the Rambam uses pesukim, this is a good example of this because each pasuk directs us towards a new insight into the idea. So he starts out with tzedakah, that's an action. No, there's like this. So taking care of someone's his first example really is healing someone who's sick. That is tzedakah for that person because you're doing what is roy for their existence. The first example from the pesukim is when you return a mashkon to an ani, which is an action, it is tzedakah for you. That's the chiddush that tzedakah could even be for you. Then second example is when you have a good midah, then that's tzedakah for you. And then the third chiddush is that the entire Torah is tzedakah for you because it perfects you. And that's so each example is necessary and it does flow from particular to general.
Yeah.
All right, good. So the last piece, so tomorrow's our last day before the break for Rambam Bekius. We're not going to finish the perek, but what I would like to do is examine tzedakah in relation to B'halachta B'drachav, because Makbiili has a nice footnote on that. And we also did we read tzedakah? Was it?
In relation to what?
V'halachta b'drachav, to following God's ways. So actually, we do have to finish the perek for that. All right. Well, maybe we'll go over time tomorrow. All right. Okay. Very good.